My name is Ben Annunziato. I teach Jiu-Jitsu here at Annunziato Jiu-Jitsu in Azle. Jiu-Jitsu is a martial art, no striking. It's a lot of grappling, throws, takedowns from the feet, and then learning how to control yourself on the mat, control others on the mat, and work for a submission. I wanted the MMA fight. That was the first motivation to step into Coach Travis's gym. And he kind of explained to me, we need to start somewhere. We need to start not just get in the cage and fight, but work some fundamentals first. So he's like, jiu-jitsu class is next. You can do that first. And if you do okay at jiu-jitsu, then we can move on to MMA. So I really only did jiu-jitsu to appease him and to try to get an amateur fight, which I really wanted. And he kind of tasked me with winning a major jiu-jitsu tournament before I got an amateur fight. And that took a really long time. So along with the decision to go with jiu-jitsu, it was just a very humbling thing to find out how difficult that was. By the time I actually won a tournament that we had talked about, I was already almost 30 years old and decided to make a career out of jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu has impacted my life tremendously. At first, it made me think about the present and how to just get better at what I was doing from day to day. I really started looking up to the upper belts that I would see on the mat. I really admired some of the black belts that I would witness and just see how confident they were. And they seemed to have their whole life together and very established. And respect that they commanded was a huge motivating factor for me. So I just started to think about what I needed to do to become somebody like that. It's also affected my personal relationships in a lot of ways. One story that comes to mind immediately, I won a Masters World Championship in 2015 at Purple Belt. And 2 weeks later, I met my wife. At dinner, she was asking me what I did for a living. I told her I did jiu-jitsu. And I hadn't really won anything to this point, so it was really cool to get to converse in that moment and say, yeah, I do jiu-jitsu. And her follow-up question was, well, are you any good at it? And I said, well, yeah, actually, here a couple weeks ago, I just won a major tournament and impressed her with that. When I got to blue belt is when I finally started help teaching a class. And I would notice other people would come in and they would have that same kind of lost look on their face where they were either discouraged or maybe confused at what's going on. So I very much enjoyed passing some of those lessons on to them. So like, hey, this is really hard, but so-and-so just told me if you just do this, or if you just think about it this way, it can improve. I noticed it would help them. So I would really try not to overstep as a beginner, but I really enjoyed helping. I like trying to pass on lessons and things that have helped me as much as they have, and finding spots where they can help someone else just as much. When somebody really has like a aha type of moment where maybe they've really been struggling with a move or a concept and suddenly it works, or suddenly they really understand it. And you'll even see a smile or a chuckle sometimes, like, aha, like I get that now, or I understand what we've been talking about. And that's a cool feeling. It's really cool to teach something difficult and then to see that they're getting it and progressing with it. Is probably my favorite part, for sure. When I decided to one day maybe open my own gym, I remember telling my coach, this is what I want to do. I want to do what you do. So from a very early time, he really let me work through the beginner stages of coaching and teaching and telling me how the business worked, and really giving me a lot of leash in that way to learn underneath him. The feeling of cleaning up and getting ready for class. Are people going to come? Is anybody going to show up and want to train? And actually seeing people show up and come in, and that's my favorite part for sure, is seeing people come in saying, yeah, I enjoy it, seeing them come back. It's like, that's just the best feeling in the world. I couldn't have imagined it would have happened like that. When I was teaching for Coach Travis for a long time, what I felt like my job is to take people that didn't know jiu-jitsu and teach them enough to get them into Coach Travis's class. So the biggest change is just being able to do what I want to do from week to week or day to day with the curriculum and what I'm actually teaching and how I want to, build technique with these guys. Getting people to join has been an interesting process. I've done the Facebook thing here recently that's been working pretty well. TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, and really just trying to upload videos, pictures, blogs, trying to tell people in the area what jiu-jitsu is and who I am, just letting them know what classes are like and trying to get them to come try a free class. So that's been the angle so far, and it's doing pretty good. I see people who have every physical disadvantage, in their way, or schedule is blocking them from training or whatever it is. Odds seem to be really stacked against them, but sometimes those are the people that end up staying for a long time, and it'll really surprise you. There are times where we might have people here on the mat, and the only thing that they have in common is being here, doing jiu-jitsu. A short pitch to start training that got me was, listen, you are this age now. It takes 10 to 12 years to earn a black belt. That time is going to pass, whether we're training or not. So if you're 25 and you train for 10 years, we'll be a 35-year-old black belt. And you'd much rather be a 35-year-old black belt than just 35.